With the recent news of D'Angelo's passing, this feels like a timely moment to look back on one of his most important works, the album Black Messiah, credited with also the Vanguard. It stands out as not only a musical high point in his career, but as a cultural document of the moment. This thing came out in 2014 with after a 14-year absence from his massive project Voodoo, which has great success. D'Angelo's Black Messiah arrived as more than just a comeback; it was a cultural moment. Although the project had been in the works for years, D'Angelo expedited the wrapping it up um, in response to national unrest over police shootings and police brutality. This was around the time of Ferguson. It stands out as his last major full album release. At least as of now, we don't know if there's anything that's going to be released posthumously. I imagine he probably has something, in the hard drive, and hopefully we get to somebody his family, his estate curates that meticulously and puts it out and does him does the work justice whenever it does come out. We see this a lot with the big artists when they pass away, especially if it's a respectful curation of his work. I'm looking forward to whenever that happens. But on this thing, it shows that he passed away at a time and left us with this project, knowing that it crystallizes him, um, i- you know, in this journey, in his musical journey, as being matured, as being politically aware, as being sonically adventurous. Because this project is not your typical neo soul um, um, listening adventure. It has a lot of experimental jazz sound in there, a bit of funk. um, for listeners, this thing offers a bit of escapism from the usual. It's sonically adventurous. It reflects the inner conflicts D'Angelo might have been going through at the time. On one hand, the lush, romantic soul singer, has a couple love tracks on this thing, but on the other hand, it's a very socially conscious um, um, journey. So it's confronting the boundaries of that of the duality of love and hate. For listeners, it offers more than just escapism. It asks you to listen actively, to feel the groove, to feel that tension, to appreciate the instrumentation, to engage with the themes beyond just love songs. And D'Angelo has always been that this conscious about his art, not necessarily being protest music, but this is definitely a protest album. But it's intentional when he puts it on wax. In the light of his passing, it gains even further gravity. The album becomes not only a creative statement, but a legacy marker. He is I think, I think the consensus is that D'Angelo is a godfather, of neo soul, right? The rebirth of soul music from the '90s and early 2000s. But Black Messiah, he kind of ventures away from that and challenges that archetype, and he's always been pushing his music to new grounds. Um, that being said, this has a lot of funk, has a lot of rock, it has a lot of jazz. As much as it is soul, there's still soul in there. He can't help but make his voice sound like that, right? He's a soul singer. But the project taps into legacies like you think like Sly, Family Stone, and there's a riot going on, right? There's gospel leaning happening sometimes on the project. Of course, like I said, jazz. Uh, while it is new and fresh for its time, 2014. It is not um, void of some nostalgic moments. So I'll give him that. The um, the entire project was recorded using some vintage analog equipment and tape machines. It feels alive. It feels authentic. Um, it feels like there's some old tape machines. It feels like it just feels deeply human. And even when I have it on vinyl, and and you put that thing on, and it's very much feels like it was just yesterday, but it feels warm, and it feels um, artists being free to say what they want to say with just him. But the band also just feels like they're just grooving. They're just freaking grooving. Nothing is quantized or perfectly polished. Instead, it's raw, deep pockets of groove that just breathes and drives everything forward with an almost messy vitality. What truly elevates the album is D'Angelo's meticulous vocals. He even does the layering himself in the background. You hear his harmonies, and he'll have these like falsettos that are ad lib throughout the thing, and stacking the tracks to create a rich, dense choir effect. The result is almost spiritual. It's a soulful thickness that adds profound depth to every song. Speaking of which, the charade. This track is the charade is the third track on the project, and it is sharp. It's social in its social commentary. It's wrapped in a funk rock groove. For the vibes, man, the charade is essential. It perfectly captures the album's um, urgent political heart. Um, so solidifying this as like I said, a protest album. Every track here on this thing is gonna be a journey. Sugar Daddy, that stuttering funky rhythm and those horns are just pure fire on that. Till it's done. This opens with a drum roll referencing Sly and Family Stone's "Stand," but then it diverges into something a little bit more serious about destiny and struggle. Another life. Love that one. This is the closing track on this thing. This is gonna be your classic love song that just grooves hard, closes out the project, and it functions like a almost like a benediction and a quiet thesis statement all at once. After an album full of distortion, protest tones, dense rhythmic layering, and spiritual unease, this track opens the skies a little bit. It's a little bit more hopeful. Again, it's back to it, like kind of like a love ballad sort of situation. Um, and it's an emotional, um, you know, soft landing for the whole sequence of songs there. How does one attempt to be the kind of friend that you would want to keep? I just want to say to thee, even though might be hard to believe, the candy coated thoughts that drift in my sleep lets me know it's you that holds the key. I got a craving for confection so sweet, for the taste of when our lips first meet. That's old fashioned poetry love song happening right there. I just want to take you with me, secret rooms in the mansions of my mind, shower you with all that you need. Take my hand. I swear I'll take my time. I'm not surprised to find angels compete for the chance to lay down at your feet. I want to touch in all of the places that please pull you close. I want to feel you breathe. Um, the dope part about this, I, you know, yes, it's a love song, but he keeps repeating the line in another line, right? And that just sounds just like such a great way to not only close out the project, but also kind of talking to the rest of us. Yeah, baby, in another life, I bet you wouldn't know. In another life, I bet you were my girl in another life, I bet you wouldn't know in another life. I bet you wouldn't know. Just like speaking to this, like we'll see you again. Almost like although we gone to the end of the road and I can't let you know, or even Bone Thugs with "Meet you at the crossroads, meet you at the crossroads," right? Um, and for him to have passed away, it's sad to think, but you know, in another life, you know, we'll see you. We don't know what happens after this. We don't know where we're going. We don't know if there's anything after this. But I hope that whatever, well, I'm not, you know, I just know that the mark that D'Angelo has left in the industry on this planet to people that love his music, he sort of lives on in a new way, in sort of another kind of life. Um, and for him to this to be the last track of his last album, you know, and ending it in love, in the hopes of love, in the aspiration of love, you know, the target of his love in here would be this girl that he's talking about, this woman, you know. But it's the spirit. It's all in the spirit of love, and that's a dope way for him to have cemented his legacy. Letting that be the final track on the last that we heard from him. He didn't, of course, he didn't know it at the time that you know, but we I talked about how he died of cancer in a previous video. So go back and check the timeline for that. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe. But when an artist like D'Angelo departs, albums like Black Messiah invite us to revisit not just the music, but what the moment was when you first heard it, or when it came out, or where you were at the time, and what was the state of the world. And this thing, it it leaves the grooves and leaves the moods and leaves the messages behind, um, for us to replay over and over to so that we never forget. This project doesn't always follow the neat structures of radio friendly R&B. I don't think any of these songs, maybe maybe It Ain't Easy might have charted at the time. I would have to go back and check that, but I could probably see maybe It Ain't Easy or maybe the Charade, especially since the Charade is a particular protest kind of track. But um, for those who know, I mean, just look at this is a protest album, and it came out the protest, so I could see like something like Charade charting during that time. Just look at the album art. Um, you see the fist raised up, you know, and it's all in black and white. And even from the title of the damn thing, Black Messiah, that's already like pushing back on the typical zeitgeist of this. What do you say? Like you said, when I talk about there's a line in here where we talk with there's a somebody preaching or something saying how when I talk about Jesus, I'm not talking about some blue-eyed, pale-skinned you know, individual. He's talking about, and he quoting the Bible, talking about his hair was made of lamb's wool, right? Not made, but like he looked like lamb's wool, and so you're thinking of like locks and you know dreads or something, and so that would be, you know, a person, not white Jesus. It ain't white Jesus, right? So there, even the title of the project is a pushback on convention. It's a pushback on traditional thinking that we've been pushed down our throats, and that we should not be comfortable just accepting the narrative that America has been beating into us throughout our existence in this country. Black Messiah exists as you know, a flag in a rare space where urgency meets eternity. It's revolutionary. It's deeply spiritual and intense. It's funky at the same time. It's protest music that doubles as medicine for the soul.